Okay, we're going to look at something that I think is really helpful for the students. As teachers, it might not make that much difference to us in terms of what we see and how we mark, but I've had some information back from students that having this in your course makes a really big difference to them. So what I'm talking about is looking at the way the students move through your course and helping make it easier for them. So at the moment, students go into the modules and they work through. This is what happens in one of my classes. Childbirth Education doesn't have any students in it this semester, but here's the student view. So they can see here the modules and they can kind of work through them. Now the trouble is, what happens is that students flick back and forth between classes and they can forget kind of where they're at within a particular module. So it's helpful for them to have little markers of what they've already handed in and what they haven't handed in yet. So let's have a look at another class where I've set this up so we can look and see what happened here. Let's change that. So we can look and see what it looks like for the students. So this is my business studies class. Let's go ahead and look at the student view in it, in the modules section. So you can see here on the right hand side that the student has little check marks of things that they've done and handed in. And this means that they know that they've handed in this assignment. They can open the module section. They know where they're at. Okay, I'm up to working on this one here. They're preparing for business. I can just click on that and go to it. Okay, so how do we set this up? It's actually set up in your modules tab. So let's leave the student view right now and go into modules tab. I'll actually go back into that childbirth education class so that I can where am I going? So that I can set it up and show you what I mean. Okay, it was this one. So in the modules tab, on the right hand side here, there's an edit button. So within that edit button is an idea to add requirements. Now this it means that the students have to look at all this information and have to do things with it. So we know that that's what we need our students to do anyway, right? We want them to read the information that we've put up there and we want them to move through it. So we're not asking them to do anything additional. We're just going to provide those little green check marks for when they've done it. So my requirement here is that students must complete all of these requirements. You can have it so that they have to move through in sequential order if you want to. I don't put that up for mine, especially in this class in particular. Sometimes they jump around through different childbirth education things. They might answer one style before they go back and answer the other style, and so that's fine with me. If you want your students to move sequentially through it, if one builds on the next, then you want to be checking this box here, which is that they have to do, section 1 before they go to section 2. They can't do them out of order. Now the other part that you need to have is you need to tell Canvas what counts as the students having done the assignment, right? So for my predominant childbirth page, all they have to do is view it, right? But if I've got here this assignment, the predominant childbirth education assignment, and what they have to do is they have to submit it for that to be given that little green checkbox. The other option that you have in terms of assignments is that you can have it where the student can just mark it as done when they've done the assignment. So it can be a box that they just check off if you want them to do that. If it's an assignment that doesn't involve anything being handed in, that they just view it. If it's just a reading assignment and there's no grading and stuff attached to it, then you can use the view item. The mark is done. They get to choose to mark it. The submitted is when they have to hand something in. You can also have the score at least. So when you add the score at least, it'll tell you what grade you've already given the assignment. So the total grade that any student can get in this assignment is marked out of 20. So I can say that in order for them to have this assignment marked as done, they need to score at least 15 out of 20 in this assignment to move on. If not, they're going to have to resubmit until they get that 15 out of 20. Now that's up to you. Again, some of these assignments you'll have this on there already as part of your syllabus, and so you just want to add it in. Others, if you don't have it as part of your syllabus, it needs to be added there before you can make this a requirement, right? You can't require anything that we haven't told them we already require. So just know that if you're going to choose that option, make sure that it's clearly explained in the syllabus and clearly explained in other places, and that there's a rationale behind it. So for me, I just have submit the assignment. The students don't have to wait for me to grade it. As soon as they get that, as soon as they've handed it in, they get that little green check. Okay, and then you just keep adding requirements to make sure that all of your modules are handed in. The client handout needs to be submitted. So you want to go through and make sure that every requirement that you've got here has, every assignment or every quiz. You can do the same for quizzes. Again, it's submit or get a certain grading. Make sure that everything has got all of these requirements here added to it, and then just update the module. This is showing this because the class is already published. And so all I'm doing here is hitting continue. If you're working in one of your classes that haven't been published, that box won't come up for you. So this is just, that box is just because we're retroactively putting it out there. And that means that as students go through and watch something, they will, or see something, that little green checkbox will come up. So let's go and have a look and see what that looks like now from a student's point of view. I'm going into settings here and just turning it into the student's point of view so I can be that test student, and into modules. And okay, I'm working through this here. I'm going to have a look at this. You can see here the requirement that was listed under that was view. So I'm going to have a look at this. Okay, I would watch those videos and then hit next. And let's say now I'm done for the day. Okay, I got called away. My daughter got called to pick her up from school. Then you can see now this little green checkbox is coming up here. Yeah, it's showing that I have completed that requirement. Above here, just above it, I don't know if my image is in the way there, but if it's not, then you've got the work in progress. And also, because I've got due dates on these and some of these requirements are not completed, even though their due dates have passed, it's showing as hang on, you're behind in some of this. So that's the red circle with the little arrow, with the bar through it. So I know that I've been asked from students to make sure I've got this in my classes. I also got an email just the other night from a student who was really excited about the fact that we could include this in our classes. And so I'm hoping to add this into as many classes as we can. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. I can really help you with setting this up. It doesn't take that long. It is a matter of knowing exactly what requirements are in there and that you want students to follow. But once you've got that information laid out, then it's quite easy to get up, and it is very helpful for the students to know where they're at and to get those little green check marks. Okay, contact me with any questions. Thanks.